Dasya, is that what? Om Agnan Timirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam
Rupa Kada Mayam Dadati Swa
Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Raghunatha Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padaya Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. हरे कृष्ण.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mataji, for doing the Mangalacharan so beautifully. We are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 2, Chapter 9. Chapter 9 is Answers by Citing the Lord's Version, and we are still continuing with text 36. As we wait for Mataji to join, I think we can read the purport. We can recite the verse. I know we've been doing it since the last week, but the purport is really long. The text 36. Would anybody like to recite the text 36? I can recite it. Etavad eva jignasham tattva jignasuna sunatmanam Vayatire bhayam yatsvat sarvatra sanavada sarvada. Translation: a person who is searching after the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, most certainly search for it up to this, in all circumstances, in all space and time, and both directly and indirectly. So we are starting from the text where it says, even if a person is fully addicted. Even if a person is fully addicted to all sorts of sinful acts, if he happens to be engaged in the loving transcendental service of the Lord under proper guidance, he is too considered the most perfect holy man without a doubt. And thus any person, whatsoever and whosoever he or she may be, even the fallen woman, the less intelligent laborer, the dull mercantile man, or even the man lower than all these, can attain the highest perfection of life by going back home, back to Godhead, provided he or she takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord in all earnestness. The sincere earnestness, the only qualification that can lead one to the highest perfectional stage of life, and unless and until such real earnestness is aroused, there is a difference between cleanliness or uncleanliness, learning or non-learning in the material estimation. Fire is always fire, and thus if someone touches the fire knowingly or unknowingly, the fire will act on its own without discrimination. The principle is Harir harati papani dasta chitar api smrta. The all-powerful Lord can purify the devotee of all sinful reactions, just as the sun can sterilize all sorts of infections by its powerful rays. Attraction for material enjoyment cannot act upon a pure devotee of the Lord. There are hundreds and thousands of aphorisms in the revealed scriptures. Atma Ramascha Munyaha. Even the self-realized souls are also attracted by the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Kechit Kevalaya Bhaktya Vasudevaya Parayaha. Simply by hearing and chanting, one becomes a great devotee of Lord Vasudeva. Nachalti Bhagvat Padravrital Lavanimishardhanam Apisa Vaishnava Graha. A person who does not move from the lotus feet of the Lord, even for a moment or a second, is to be considered the greatest of all Vaishnavas. Bhagavad Prasadatam Prapte Mat Sevaya Prapatate Pratitam Te. The pure devotee are convinced of attaining the association of the personality of Godhead, and thus they are always engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Therefore, in all continents, in all planets, in all universes, devotional service of the Lord or Bhakti Yoga is current, and that is the statement of the Srimad Bhagavatam and allied scriptures. Everywhere means in every part of the creation of the Lord. The Lord can be served by all senses or even simply by the mind. The South Indian Brahmana, who served the Lord simply on the strength of his mind, also factually realized the Lord. Success is guaranteed for the devotee who fully engages any one of his senses in the mode of devotional service. The Lord can be served by any ingredient, even the most common commodity, a flower, a leaf, a fruit, or little water, which was available in any part of the universe and without cost. And thus the Lord is served universally by the universal entities. He can be served simply by hearing. He can be served simply by chanting or reading about his activities. He can be served simply by adoring him and accepting him. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that one can serve the Lord by offering the results of one's own work. It does not matter what one does. Generally, men may say that whatever they are doing is inspired by God, but that is not all. One should actually work on behalf of God as a servant of the God. The Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita 9.27. Hare Krishna, I'm just seeing if Mataji has joined us. Hare Krishna, Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for giving your precious time and joining us. We are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 2, Chapter 9, Text 36. We've just read the purport from where we had started, even if the person is fully addicted.
Recording in progress. Just had to connect the device.
No problem, Mataji.
Yeah, I have a phone and a laptop now, so that's good. All right, let's get started here, devotees. Om Ajnana Timirandhas Dhananjam Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschayata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udire Srinivata Swagata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridayantastaudhya Bhadrani Vidunoti Sugrit Satam Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Seviya Bhagavati Uttam Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Nishtike. Hare Krishna. Sorry for the delay. Okay, so let's get started here, devotees. As you all know, we are seeing a very, very important verse, and it talks about sadhana bhakti. Pretty much that is the essence of this verse. And today we will try to understand, as you all can understand from the purport, the discussion of pure devotee of the Lord is the theme of this verse. Especially this paragraph, that is the theme. So now, let's get into the analogy and try to discuss some of the things that's being talked about in the purport. All right, dear devotees? So let's do that. In Bhagavad Gita, we all know there's this beautiful verse, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, right? That after many, many births and deaths of following the principles of religion, we finally come to the platform of highest knowledge. He surrenders on to Vasudev, knowing Vasudev to be the cause of all causes. And Krishna concludes in the Gita by saying, Sarvadharman parityagnya mamekam sharanam praja aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshishyami machichah. So Bhagavad Gita explains to everyone. It is a complex scripture of life. And Bhagavad Gita, what is it being said? If you relieve me, I mean, even Krishna also claims in Bhagavad Gita, I am the compiler of the Vedas, and by Vedas I am to be known, right? Krishna says there is no one superior, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests on me. So, as you understand the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, if you surrender to Krishna, there is nothing to fear. That's what Sarvadharman Parityagnya verse says. And we understand over and over that Krishna is the cause of all causes. There is no other truth that is superior other than Krishna. So the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, they examined very carefully the Upanishads, the 4 Vedas, the Puranas, the Ramayanas, Mahabharatas. And then what they did was, they extracted the very essence. It is described that the Vedic literatures are like milk. It is said, Vedas is our mother and Krishna or God is our father. What is the glory of the mother? The mother gives milk to nourish the children. So Vedic literatures, they are like milk which nourish the human society with what? With direction, with knowledge, and with purpose of life. So it is described, the essence of the milk is the cream, right? And the essence of the milk is the cream. So what is the essence of our Vedic literature? The cream of the Vedic literature, what is that? It is Srimad Bhagavatam. Because the Bhagavad Purana is unique in that it does not concern itself with the lower principles of religion. Basically, if you look at the scriptures, they are concerned with four things. For economic development, for religiosity, for sense gratification, for liberation. And although Vedic literatures throughout are constantly being won gradually to a point where we can surrender to the Lord. And we also know Vedic literatures are desire trees. Nigama kalpa taror ghalitham phalam. In that, the Vedas give every class of men, according whatever they want, according to their desire, they have an excuse to worship the Lord. Whatever you want, go and ask Lord for it. Through this process, gradually what is going to happen to you is that you become purified of all the desires. And ultimately, you will come to the platform of unmotivated, uninterrupted desire to love and serve the Supreme Lord. In Srimad Bhagavatam, especially one deals with this principle of pure devotion to God. Therefore, if you look at Rupa Goswami, who's the leader of the 6 Goswamis, he has elaborated very, very beautifully, showing us how in our practical life can we live exclusively for the purpose of pure devotion of the Lord. So therefore, he has written this handbook, right? Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And we have to know the fact that it is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who specifically empowered Rupa Goswami for this purpose. So it is described, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was on his way to Vrindavan. Okay, dear devotees, on his way to where? Vrindavan. And he stopped at a holy place called Parag. He stopped at that place. And this is the place where there is the confluence of Yamuna, Ganga and Saraswati. At this place, Rupa Goswami, we all know, he was a chief minister of that place and he was working for a Muslim emperor basically. So Rupa Goswami, he resigned from all his responsibilities to delegate. To do what? To dedicate his life so he can serve the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Parag, and this is a very, very sacred place. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took Rupa Goswami in confidence. And he went and he instructed all the essence of knowledge. The very essence of knowledge was explained to Rupa Goswami by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All right. And then he went through step by step of the process of, okay, this is how a neophyte devotee is going to be there. These are his symptoms. And then from there, how he progresses to pure devotional service. All this is explained in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. This is all due to the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rupa Goswami got the essence of knowledge. Now, after instructing for 15 days, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he requested Rupa Goswami, now you churn the instructions that I gave you. And from it, I want a very, very glorious literature, which will be the handbook for all devotees to come. You understand, dear devotees? They met at Pragya. They were talking to each other for 15 days. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was instructing Rupa Goswami and he was giving him the essence of knowledge. And after that, he told Rupa Goswami, see, now, whatever I know, I have given you the essence. And you have to churn it. And you have to give and distribute this knowledge for all devotees to come. This is what is my instruction to you. And Rupa Goswami, he went to Vrindavan and he composed this book, which is a devotion to God. And he entitled that book and he called it Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is Rupa Goswami's manifestation of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy upon him. He was reciting, again, if you look at that scripture, there is a part on Sadhana Bhakti and then it goes to Bhav Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. The parts on Bhav Bhakti and Prema Bhakti can't be understood by us. It is so deep. But Rupa Goswami would have explained everything. And nobody, there was an incident where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feeling of separation can only be understood by Rupa Goswami. Because, so what happened was, there was a confidential prayer that was in the mind of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this was actually realized or felt by our Rupa Goswami. And he actually wrote it down in a piece of, in a palm leaf. And then he kept it like that and he went to bathe. At that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to that place. And when he saw the leaf stuck on the rope, he opened it and he said to his secretary, Swarup Damodar Swami, how could this Rupa Goswami understand the inner confidential mood of my heart. No one can understand this. And Swarup Damodar Goswami said, my dear Lord, it is just possible because you have blessed him with your supreme mercy. That is why it is possible for him to understand your inner mood, in your confidential mood. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with the tears of love in his eyes, he said, yes, yes, that's true. Because Rupa Goswami is completely a pure-hearted servant. I have blessed him with all my mercy. The next day, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he visited a place and there were many associates of him. He requested Rupa Goswami, can you explain your particular writings that you're working on? And Rupa Goswami, he started to recite very beautiful Sanskrit slokas, and he praised the holy name of Krishna. The holy name of Krishna, he says, I cannot imagine, I cannot understand the holy name of Krishna. I can comprehend how much nectar it produces. And then he says, when one chants the name of Krishna, one desires hundreds and millions of tongues. And when the sound of that name enters into the ears, one desires trillions and trillions of years. Imagine, dear devotees, first he's talking about how one desires to have many millions of tongues. And then when that holy name enters into the ear, what he feels is one would desire trillions and trillions of years. And when the holy name enters the courtyard of the heart becomes paralyzed. Heart becomes paralyzed. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees heard this, in great ecstasy, they would cry in love. And they would explain, we have never heard this kind of explanation. We have never heard this explanation of holy name so full of bhakti. Because see how he is relishing it. A pure devotee of the Lord, when we chant our holy name, oh, when am I going to be done with my rounds? This is the feeling that we have. So what ruchi we have to even understand Rupa Goswami's perception of chanting the holy name of the Lord. When one recites, he desires to have millions of tongues. And when that holy name enters the ears, he wishes or desires to have trillions of years. And when the holy name enters into his heart, it becomes paralyzed. This is the realization of Rupa Goswami's bhakti. And when everybody heard this, my God, this is all full of bhakti. And the devotees could understand that no one could accomplish this glorious realization of life. It's only possible for Rupa Goswami because of the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to pray the qualities of Rupa Goswami. He began to praise the qualities of Rupa Goswami with his 5 mouths. As if he had 5 mouths. You know, he was like glorifying left and right Rupa Goswami. And because Rupa Goswami was a dear humble servant, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he empowered him obviously with all his blessings. And that is why pure devotional service is manifested in Rupa Goswami's heart. And when the devotees heard, their hearts were filled with pleasure. You see, the nature of the devotee is that they love to see someone getting the mercy of the Lord. Imagine, dear devotees, this is not what an ordinary mind would think. If somebody in front of you gets the mercy of Maharaj, your heart will be burning in fire. My God, I didn't get that mercy. Oh, this devotee got what I didn't get. But the nature of a pure devotee is that the devotee feels pleasure when someone is getting the mercy. This is the nature. The nature of a materialistic person is somebody getting a special mercy, then they become envious. I deserve it. Why not me? But a genuine devotee, his greatest happiness is not seeing himself gain the mercy of the Guru, but others gaining the mercy of the Guru. This everything that we have in this materialistic world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. So whatever we think from a material perspective has to be made opposite. If we become envious, try to understand the devotional principle is to see others get mercy. That is when you become fulfilled. And you don't worry about you getting the mercy. And when this happens, it means your heart is getting purified, dear devotees. This is how you check yourself, where I am, in what consciousness I am. Am I in the spiritual platform, or am I still degraded and going worse and worse sucked into the material platform? And again, dear devotees, why we are discussing this is because this particular paragraph talks about pure devotional service, nothing but pure devotional service. So what is pure devotional service has to be understood by us. And that's why I'm quoting the examples of Rupa Goswami, who's a pure devotee of the Lord. And if you look at the passage of Chaitanya Charitamrita, we understand Rupa Goswami was undoubtedly getting the blessings of the Lord. In his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he begins explaining the glory of pure devotional service, pure devotion to God. He explains that, saying there are 6 characteristics of pure devotional service. The first characteristic of pure devotional service is Suddha Bhakti. It will release one from all material distress. What? Shuddha Bhakti. This material world, we all know, Dukkalayam Ashashvatam. That's what we know. Those who have intelligence, they don't have any kind of goals in this material world, because they know this place is Dukkalayam Ashashvatam, that this material world is ultimately a place of misery, because everything in this material world, we know it's temporary, and everything is in the process of dying one day or the other. No matter whatever arrangements you may make at any moment, those arrangements can fall into pieces at some point. We really don't know. At this point, I would like to quote an example which His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj just spoke in one of the lectures. Maharaj said he was at a naturopathic ashram and he was looking for some books, and he was reminded of some founding fathers of naturopathy. And this guy was a German man, it seems. And he was very famous. His books are all about natural medicine. He was a very young man. But he had, bronchitis and various diseases in his joints. And he never had the energy. So he went to one doctor after the other, and he was keep on spending money. And nothing worked. So everything was about, okay, how I can relieve myself temporarily from the situation. And at one point, this man was even thinking about suicide. But then he had heard that there are some natural healers in France, and he became very, very serious. And he began to take that process of natural healing, and he got a little better. And though, the thing is, Maharaj said, some people are there, and we understand it's very, very complicated to kind of help them understand what is love. The more material intelligence that you put on something, the less is the chance for you to understand what love is. A simple man, he just works by common sense, right? But a very, very educated man, he does not believe in common sense. There could be hypotheses, there could be theories, there could be all of the other process. They try to figure out, okay, this is what it is. But sometimes common sense doesn't work. You just have to try something out of the box. That's what Maharaj was talking when he was saying about natural healing. You never would say, oh, there has been a thesis done on this, there has been a thesis, but he just went out of the box to kind of take care and heal himself in a natural way, which nobody would do. They would go for allopathy, they would go for some medicine which is proven in terms of science, but they wouldn't believe, oh yeah, this will work. Like that, when it comes to pure devotional service, we don't have experience of it. But we have to understand that whatever that is said in the scripture has to be understood. That is what it is. It has been proven. It has been validated by all our acharyas. It has been validated and proven that if you are having this mentality of a materialistic person, then you are not progressing in spiritual life. This has been validated. And Maharaj then says, no matter what arrangements you made, you never know when by the laws of nature, everything will be taken away from you. Right? We all know this. Everything is temporary and nothing is permanent. So those who are intelligent, they never make any goals in life to be happy in this world, because they know every step there is a danger. Man proposes, God disposes. And all the sufferings is due to our past sinful activities. Obviously, we have sufferings. And how we take it now? We take it because, I might have done some harm to some person in my previous life or even in this life, and that is why I'm incurring what I'm incurring. So you learn from it and you become a better person. That's what Krishna consciousness does to us. Because a normal man, he will go through suffering, but he will not introspect. But a Krishna conscious person, he has this ability to introspect. Yes, I suffer this reaction for sin. That is because of my past sinful activities. And bhakti can help us to elevate ourselves to a platform to say, yes, this is due to my attitude that I might have done something to somebody, and because of which I'm getting what I'm getting now. And as a person, I have to refine and move on and introspect and become a better person. This is what we do. That's why you can't stop any sufferings. These are all coming because of, see, Rupa Goswami says there are two types of sinful activities, sinful reactions. One that is mature and other that is immature. The mature sinful reactions are the sinful reactions that we are going to realize that because they have matured. And immature sinful reactions, they are like seeds within our heart. They haven't fructified, but in the future, they are going to fructify. So Rupa Goswami quotes Krishna in the 11th canto, where Krishna is instructing his friend Uddhava. He says, devotional service or bhakti is like a blazing fire. And when the seeds of sinful reactions are there, whether they are mature or they are immature, they are consumed by the fire and they are finished forever. So, by engaging in the service of the Lord, all our sinful reactions are destroyed. This is the point Krishna communicates to Uddhava. Sometimes sinful activities are compared to snakes, and devotion to God, bhakti, is compared to that of a forest fire. So in the forest fire, you see there are four-legged animals, and sometimes they can escape. But the snakes, do you think they can escape in the forest fire? They immediately burn to ashes. So, in the same way, the power of surrender to Krishna is like a fire that completely burns and extinguishes not only mature sins, but also immature sinful reactions that are there in our heart. Okay, dear devotees, that's why Krishna says, the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityagnya, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender to me. Everyone in this world, of course, they have material distress or some form of distress, but nobody likes distress, isn't it? Because the soul by nature is pleasure seeking. The soul hates distress. The soul is looking for ananda or bliss. And when we awaken the pure devotional service to God, then immediately all the material distress becomes insignificant. That the person who has distress, he will not even feel there is distress because he's always engaged in the service of the Lord. He's always nothing. The only distress for him is not the material distress that he's seeing, but I didn't do enough service to Lord. I didn't do this to Lord. I didn't do that. Is the distress. And whenever he's separated from the Lord, that is the actual distress for him. And in this material world, we cannot avoid distress. How much ever you try, you can't. Can you? Even Ambani or anybody rich, a millionaire, he can't avoid distress. And Rupa Goswami, he says, yes, this devotional service is the beginning of all auspiciousness. What is auspicious? Auspicious is that which is for the welfare of the living beings. What is auspicious is that which brings prosperity and happiness to all. And for some, it could be philanthropy. It could be charity that is very auspicious. But according to Rupa Goswami, the greatest auspiciousness is to awaken the person to his pure consciousness. Therefore, pure devotional service is the most auspicious of all auspiciousness. It is the essence. It is a process through which a real revolution actually happens in the heart of the man. To create the auspiciousness, if everybody has this auspiciousness in the heart, then there's not going to be any cruelty or hypocrisy. Now we all act on selfish interests, right? Like cats and dogs. You can't create a peace between cats and dogs. Peace can be understood only in the presence of the Lord. That is within our hearts. One who finds God in his own heart can say, and one who finds the God in his heart, he will find God in everybody's hearts. And that's how he creates auspiciousness to everybody around. Prahlad Maharaj, he was such a person. He didn't want to go to Vaikuntha. Lord Narasimha gave him that option. And he said, I don't want any enjoyments. I don't want liberation. I only want on your behalf to show some compassion to suffering peoples of this world. It is this consciousness that is there in the heart of the souls that brings greatest auspiciousness to the world. We always think about others, pure devotees. That's why when somebody gets the mercy, they feel very happy. Real auspiciousness is found in the hearts of pure devotees of the Lord. Their hearts are like shining sun. And Srila Rupa Goswami says everyone is seeking pressure, everyone is seeking love, and the soul is eternal. The temporary objects of love in this world will never satisfy you. How much ever you get, maybe you get a good gagra today, you will be very happy, you will wear it. After that, what? I want another gagra choli or something else. You will never be happy. According to sadhus, according to Vedic literatures, there is no greater illusion in this world than family attachment, it seems. Because more than anything else, family attachment diverts our propensity of love away from Krishna towards temporary finite objects of this world, which is all completely illusion. This is not reality. Therefore, our acharyas as well as scriptures describe the essence of the life. They condemn family attachment. They condemn it. It's attachment between man and wife, the attachment towards children, relatives, family members, household possessions. It's a hard nut bondage that keeps everyone in illusion. It's a hard nut bondage. There's nothing but you just creating more and more bondage. And you're going to come life after life to experience this bondage. And Prahlad Maharaj, he explains in Srimad Bhagavatam that a materialistic family life is like a deep, dark well. When you fall into the deep, dark well and you cry for help, but nobody even hears you, you're so deep down that nobody is able to hear you. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he explains, when I come home from work in the day, I come to my home. I see my whole family. I see my household transform into Goloka Vrindavan. He has that wisdom to see family as Goloka Vrindavan, to transform he transformed his house into Goloka Vrindavan. He has that vision. And that's why Kunti Maharani also says, please take my family bondage away from me. We are all stuck due to illusion. This is not real Krishna consciousness. We like our family. No, my husband is a devotee of the Lord, and hence no, it's not that. It's material bondage that I have with him. I like him. We don't see the soul in everybody's heart. We don't see Krishna in everybody's heart. The point should come there. You should see yourself as the servant of Krishna all the time. And you should see Krishna in everybody. That is the point. You will not have bondage with anybody. At that time, you look everybody equal. So the family life actually drives one from Krishna. That's very important. We all know the story of Gajendra, the elephant. At the time of need, all his loved ones, they were standing there and watching. Therefore, we understand that my wife, my husband, they are not mine. They are all Krishna's. My children, they are not mine. They are Krishna children. My home is not mine. It's Krishna's. I have no right to exploit things for my selfish interest. But I must respect all, I must, with all respect and devotion, I must relate this with objects to the service of the Lord. Right? It is said, the family prays together, stays together in spirit. When the husband and wife understand, they are not meant for each other's enjoyment, but they are meant for Krishna's enjoyment. They are servants of Krishna. Therefore, let's worship the deities together. Therefore, let's serve the sadhus together. Therefore, let's chant together. Therefore, let's teach the children together. Help them understand the goal of life. So, if the husband and wife work on this proposal, then the family is not a deep, dark well. It's no longer the greatest illusion of life, but actually it is going to protect you from Maya. So, if we simply attach ourselves to the service of Krishna, our family is the cause of liberation. But if we simply attracted to each other as a family, attracted each other because of the relationship, then it's the greatest illusion. So we are all seeking love of Krishna, and that is the fulfillment of life. And by all means, we have to be directed towards Lord. That is greatest happiness. Therefore, it is explained, whatever desire you have, go to Krishna. He will purify you. There was one devotee who had wife and children, and he wanted to live and leave everything and join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he wanted to take the renounced order of life. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, you're not going to change your ashram. You're not going to change. You chant the holy names of Krishna. You serve the devotees. You are going to attain perfection. So it's not illusion. It's like how you perceive it through your consciousness. Everything is used in the service of Lord. I am the servant of Lord. And everybody around me, they are there to serve the Lord and being instruments in the service of the Lord. And they are not there for my enjoyment. If we are clear about this aspect, then nothing becomes bondage. But to get that understanding is not easy, dear devotees. I can say it, but it's just not easy. As I said, Kunti Maharani, she says, let my attraction, let my love be drawn towards you, and let it not be diverted to anything else. Although I'm a woman, I am naturally very attracted and attached to my family members. Cut that material bondage that I have with the Pandavas. Let my attraction be towards you. This is the prayer of Kunti. It is not that we are saying relinquish your responsibilities towards children. It's not that Kunti Maharani relinquished her responsibilities as a mother. She was the most caring mother in the world ever. But her love, her care was never separated from Krishna. She wanted her to love, she wanted the love of Krishna within the children. She didn't want love in any separate way by separating from Krishna. She didn't want to love Arjuna just because he is my son. Right? She wanted to love Arjuna because Arjuna was a friend of Krishna. So she was never separated from Krishna at any moment of devotees. That is the point of the pure devotees. They are never separating their thoughts away from Krishna. If they see a tree, they'll see, oh my God, look at this tree. How, how it's giving the fruits and how I can use these fruits to Krishna in the service of the Lord. If they look at the flower, they will offer it to Krishna. So whatever they see any object as how that can be used in the service of Lord. So they never separated from the thoughts of Krishna. This is a pure devotee. Until and unless we direct our loving propensities towards Krishna, towards the supreme truth, we will never understand what is real happiness. We will be creating a condition of suffering over and over. Like this, Rupa Goswami, he describes in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu what all this bhakti can provide. He says bhakti is very rare. Out of thousands of men who endeavor for perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. And pure devotional service is very rare. And because why it is rare, dear devotees? Why is pure devotional service rare? Krishna is subordinate to such a pure devotee. Krishna will give, anything to anybody. But if he has to give himself, then that's a big deal, right? He can give, somebody wants mystic yoga, no problem. Somebody wants heavenly planets, no problem. Somebody wants Lagima, Siddhi, this Siddhi, that Siddhi, no problem. I can give that. But if Krishna has to give himself to a devotee, then that's very rare. It's just not easy. That's the point. So, and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu explains this rarity and how I can get a pure devotion, how I can become a pure devotee, only through the mercy of somebody who has pure devotion. Otherwise, I cannot get it. It's very rare. Only through pure devotional service, God subordinates himself to that person. Krishna, he was a chariot driver to Arjuna. He was taking orders from Arjuna. And when Nanda Maharaj would come from the cowherd pastures, Krishna would take his wooden shoes and keep it on his head. Nanda Maharaj, and then he would give that shoes to Nanda Maharaj. This is rarity. No, Prahlad Maharaj says in Bhagavatam over and over again, not any amount of tapasya, not any amount of chanting the mantras, not any amount of penance or austerity or anything can give pure devotional service. It is only by taking the dust of the sadhus and smearing upon your body can one attain devotional service. There's no other way. What do you mean? You have to smear the dust of the pure devotees. It means you have to humbly engage in their service. Pure devotional service is exclusively monopoly of the pure saints, the Mahatmas. And only by their mercy, this rare jewel of bhakti can be got. This is the point. Krishna doesn't need our money. He doesn't need your intelligence. Krishna doesn't need your abilities. Do you think Krishna needs a businessman to provide funds for him? Do you think Krishna needs a cook to cook for him? Krishna is the possessor of all these opulences in full. Krishna is just pleased by our humble devotion. That devotion is what attracts Krishna. How much you love him, to that extent or more, he would reciprocate. This is the point. And the more we understand about Krishna and the more we engage ourselves in the realm of bhakti with the attitude or aspiration for pure devotion, we will slowly start understanding what the real bliss is, dear devotees. Then when you understand it, you will like, oh no, I'm not going anywhere, but just listen to Krishna Katha all the time. That's the mercy that you will get. And through this, you will become an addict. That addiction is what we want. We want, as last week we talked about how Nityananda Prabhu was addicted in devotion. And Jagai and Madai, they were addicted in their own way, and how Nityananda Prabhu could gel because of the addiction that they have. So that's the point, dear devotees. We should just pray that we get the mercy of the pure devotees, and pray that we humbly engage in their service so that our life will be of use. Otherwise, we'll be churned over and over again and be stuck in this bondage of birth and death. So we have our Supreme Father, we have our lovable Mother. So all we need to do is engage and practice devotional service all life without. And now that we are engaged in the material aspects of life, at least at every moment think that, yes, I'm the servant of Lord. I whatever I do, I want to dedicate it to the Lord. At least keep this aspect in mind till we become completely immersed all the time in the service of the Lord. Let's just do the simple aspect of offering it to the Lord. Let me just offer this act. Let me offer this act to the Lord. And this way we will slowly get purified. The karmarpanam will slowly turn into, how I can do devotion to the Lord, straight devotion to the Lord, rather than doing it indirectly. That day will not be far off when we slowly develop that attitude. Yes, if I do an activity, let me dedicate this to Lord. Let me get blessings from Lord. Let me give something to Lord through this act. That's the mentality we develop now. To slowly, we then slowly realize, yes, instead of doing indirectly, I give this to Lord by doing some material activity. Instead of doing karma and giving it to Lord, why don't I directly do bhakti? A day will come. Okay. So this is what it is, dear devotees. And hope you all understood this point, that mercy can be got only from a pure devotee. Only a devotee who has love can give love to you. So with that, we will conclude. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripasindubhya eva cha pathitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for today's class and session. Mataji, I just need 2 clarifications. I didn't understand about the forest fire, snakes and animals running away. So if you can elaborate that, please, Mataji. And the second one was on family attachment. But from family attachment, you would probably realize what love is and how to give love and how to derive love. And if you don't get love, what will you feel? So when you don't give love to Krishna, this is how Krishna will feel. Because if you didn't have the family, then you probably might become Neeras and you might not have that loving devotional service attitude towards the Lord. So these 2 points I couldn't understand properly.
Yes. So when I talked about fire, Mataji, it is said that bhakti or devotional service is like a blazing fire. Okay. And when the seeds of sinful reaction, whatever it is, be it mature or immature, when they are consumed by this fire, then they are going to be finished forever. That is, when you consume bhakti, those sins will be finished forever. So by engaging in the devotional service, what is going to happen to you? All sinful reactions are going to eventually be destroyed. And now there is a comparison of sinful activities being compared to that of snakes, and devotion to Godhead or bhakti is compared to that of a forest fire. So in the forest fire, what would happen is there could be 4-legged animals. When as soon as they see the fire, they will just run and jump and move out of the fire. Okay. But what would happen to the snakes? The snakes are immediately burned into ashes whenever there is a forest fire. So in the same way, I was just giving this analogy, the power of surrender to God is like a fire that completely burns and extinguishes all the mature or the immature sins that are there in our heart. That's what it is. Okay? This is your first question, Mataji. As far as second question goes, see, what ultimately our Shastras is saying is, we should not confuse our family attachment that we have. Meaning, the family attachment that we have should not distract us from the path of Krishna consciousness. That is what is the point. Because of family attachment, oh yeah, he is my son, he is my husband, he is this, he is that. Everything what you're doing, you are the center, and you're trying to have yourself in the center, and you have that relationship that you have a son, and that son, you know, if he doesn't study well, you become depressed, you become sad. If he doesn't earn well, you become depressed, and all this is what leading to bondage, nothing but bondage. It is distracting you from the path of Krishna consciousness. It's not helping you in any way. Instead, if you look at, oh, my son is a gift to me given by Krishna, and I don't have any kind of selfish interest upon him, but rather I want him to be in the path of Krishna consciousness. And even if he doesn't, I try my best to put him in Krishna consciousness. And even if he doesn't, that's Krishna's mercy. He will help him understand one day that he'll get out of this bondage and be dedicating his life to Krishna. So you see everything, a family, as if it is an instrument in serving Krishna. Because I see Krishna in him, so I serve him. He's the gift of God, and I serve him. He's Krishna has given it to me, and I have to make the best use of what I have and give Krishna conscious to him. And even if he doesn't accept it, it's fine. But I do my responsibilities as a parent. I do what I have to. Sometimes they may not reciprocate even in love. That's okay. My love is towards Krishna. I have to serve him dutifully, no matter what. Even if he puts me in a old age home, that's fine. I do what I have to do in terms of responsibilities that I have as a parent. This is the focus of a mother. This is the responsibility Krishna has given me. So you center Krishna in everything. Whatever happens, you center him and make him the center of life, and not focus on you. Oh, he didn't give love to me, so I'm not going to reciprocate to him back. I'm not going to feed him. I'm going to deprive him of food. No. This is what you are keeping yourself in the center. When you keep Krishna in the center, you do your duties to your child. You take care of him. You give him that nourishment that he needs. And then you see him as an instrument in the service of Lord. Whatever. So that is what is family. The material side of attachment is what we have to deter away from. But the spiritual aspect of it is kept intact. You see Krishna in the hearts of everyone. That aspect is kept intact. This is the difference, Mataji. It's just the consciousness, how you take each person. If you are solely attached to them for money, then that's keeping yourself in the center. If you solely attached to that person, oh, because he gives love to me, you're focusing yourself there, right? But instead, if you have that broader perspective of seeing Krishna in everybody, then it gives you a whole new perspective of understanding life and not be selfish. And that's not leading to bondage too. Because whatever happens, it's Krishna's mercy. That's the perception you have. You're not worried about anything in terms of consequence. Is he going to give me something in return because I do this to him? No. All you're doing is, so what is the right thing to do? That's what you do to them. And then you never expect anything in return. And how can I serve Krishna? If I'm compassionate to everyone, Krishna likes it. So that's how I be compassionate to everyone. I don't expect anything in return. That's the spiritual principle again. I'm not attached to them because, oh, my husband is going to do this. If I do this, he will do this to me. No. You pray together, you be together, you engage yourself in the service together, and you go to dhams together. So in this way, you both are engaging yourself in Krishna consciousness. In some cases, it cannot happen. Husband may not be in Krishna consciousness. Still, you try to do your duty. And Krishna's mercy, everything will be fine. Krishna's mercy, he will make impossible possible. One day he will become a devotee too. We don't know. But if that husband keeps offending the wife, then his path to come into Krishna consciousness becomes lesser and lesser. So again, but the wife will become stronger and stronger in Krishna consciousness, because Krishna will give so much willpower to that girl to come out of the trouble. So material trouble will never be trouble to the lady anymore. This is what will happen. Everything is the mercy of Krishna, and looking Krishna in everything, doing service to Krishna in all you have, which are used as instruments in the service of Lord, and doing the right thing. All this is what is going to not lead you to bondage, Mataji. The rest will lead to bondage.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that clarification.
It was a long one.
Yeah, it's okay, Mataji. I know we have exhausted our time. Any questions or comments by somebody in the group? If there are no comments or questions, can I request Bhakta Mugo? Are you able to end this session for today, Rebul?
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Professor Krishika Mataji, for the opportunity. And thank you so much, Your Grace, Kasturi Radhika Mataji, for that great class. And also how you always remind us of these great Goswamis from Sanatana Goswami, and today it was also Jiva Goswami, and today it was Rupa Goswami, a great scholarly. So we are all challenged to read more on their works, at least. Thank you so much. So I'd like to request all the devotees to kindly unmute, and we do one Mahamantra in glorification of Her Grace Kasturi Mataji and all the associated devotees in this class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam
Vaishnavabhyo
namo namaha.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you for the class.
Radhika Kasturi Mataji ki jai. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.